ones who stayed up in the, they didn't come to the earth. They came later as the Nephilim under the orders of Enlil.
Okay, the Nephilim meaning just giants, you know.
Those who fell down, Nephala, to fall to the earth.
Right. So
And it just so happened that they were some big ass motherfuckers.
So when we talking about like the Emerald favorite, you know, text to get it, baby. You see me, bro? That's one of my favorite texts. I love to deal with. You feel me? And
what, the Emerald Tablets?
Yes. Tahuti, you know, he was immortal, and the only reason he was immortal is because he went to the halls of Amenti. He had to go to the halls of Amenti once every 100 years and sit under the flower of life to sort of regenerate and live for another 100 years. And also, you know, Tahuti truly say he's the builder of the Great Pyramids, and he set the pyramid over the new entrances to the halls of Amenti. But you know, like, it's deep, and I fuck with the
you know, they found it, right?
What's
Listen,
that? The halls of Amenti?
But all of the scrolls was gone. They couldn't find none of the scrolls. But the scrolls was in the library in Alexandria. But they told us they burnt it down.
Right.
But hey, Alexander Alexander was a Greek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at the time that the library burned down, the Greeks was warring with the Romans.
Right.
All right. And Rome conquered and absorbed Greece and formed the Greco-Roman Empire. Alexandria was the capital until Rome won. When Rome won, Rome became the capital. So, as was the tradition with prior spoils of war, they transferred the booty from Alexandria, the former capital, to the new capital, Rome. That shit is in the Vatican Library.
Oh, the scrolls from Atlantis?
Yep.
Oh,
they say they can't read them.
I mean, definitely. I mean, and we was talking. I think I heard you speaking about, you know, I just love your perspective. You feel me? Because I can tell you have a high level of understanding when it comes to that text. You feel me? And that's like, and it's deep, but like, to be immortal. This one reason I fuck with meditation, whether we taking the spirit shower or kinetic meditation or whatever meditation. Meditation is medication, as I always say, because once we got people in the Far East, they call Sris and Swamis. These people have been living for well over 200 years. You feel me? 250 years, 260, 70 years. And they've been documented. I got one for you. They've been documented by the British government for like centuries. And the key to immortality, they break it down from meditation. And it's deep because, like, if we wanted to live long, we have in our DNA, we have telomeres, something called a telomere. When we're newborn, the younger we are, the longer our telomeres are. The older we get, the shorter and shorter they get. And this is why when we like get in the elderly, 80, 90 years old, we have very little telomeres. So we get sick because the telomeres, every time we get sick, the telomere splits off and duplicates itself. So if we get sick, you feel me, as an elder, and we ain't got that much telomere to duplicate itself, it's just gonna die off. So meditation lengthens the telomeres. You feel me? Especially
that's the poison that kill us right there.
You say what, bro? That's
the poison that kills us, because the telomeres, and when we was eternal beings, covered the entire DNA helix or the entire gene.
That's what I'm saying. Because a telomere is located in between the chromosomes. You feel me? You know, we got 46 chromosomes. It's a piece of genetic.
It's on the tips of them. It's on the tips of the chromosome.
And they be long as hell. So you say when we was immortal, The telomeres was wrapped around the whole DNA coil. Damn.
Right. Remember
Meditation.
Malachi said that the Anunnaki maimed the gods of Earth?
Mm-hmm.
This is what he's talking about. Go back to the Genesis again.
Okay.
Right? It's saying the spirit of man shall not always, spirit of the Lord shall not always dwell with man, for his years should be 120, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
because they know if they cut a certain amount of the telomeres back,
Ooh.
it will shorten the age of them because they knew the science of the genetics already.
Exactly. Man, this shit is real sorcery, G. Like these scientists of today's time, they really sorcerers of they a sorcerer is just an ancient word for a scientist. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they doing sorcery, they curses. Like I know we got, we in modern times and we modify the terminology, but I identify a spell as drugs or addiction. You feel me? So if I want to spellbound you, I would put you on drugs or something to control you. Spells are for control purposes. And a curse has a cure. Curses has cures. Curses are caused through disease and virus made to cause affliction. So if I want to curse you, I will give you a disease. It's made in a laboratory. It ain't natural. It's not a natural pharmakeia, sorcery in Greek. And so these are sorcerers or scientists in a laboratory creating curses and putting them on the masses of people. So it's deep. That's why a curse has cures. Same word, just the letters is scrambled.
Listen.
Because in ancient times, a curse was caused through disease.
Yeah.
It's shit
The
cold
the
blooded.
word cure is an anagram for curse.
Mm-hmm. Cause and
But
we wonder
look,
why. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
most of that is psychological warfare. It's more psychological warfare than it is chemical warfare. Most of that shit, more people perish than they did from the thing they was getting protection from.
And right behind that, so
That's
they
a
gonna be
genetic.
targeted.
That's a genetic hybrid of herpes
Mm. Somebody created that in a laboratory.
in the laboratory. Yeah, they spliced the genes
That's
of the two
sorcery.
different. Yeah, all
Damn.
day long. Now
Mm-hmm.
remember, in the Revelations, it said, and one of the angels of the Lord poured out the vials of the plagues.
Mm. Mm.
What, he got a laboratory? Because he got vials with plagues in them.
Damn. Yeah, this shit crazy.
So they making this shit in the laboratory, and we know it because they got patents on the viruses.
Mm-hmm.
How you can only have a patent on it if it's not naturally occurring.
Hey, they absolutely right. STDs, HIVs, herpes, all STDs are curses. Were curses in ancient times. A sorcerer wanted to curse it, he would give you an STD. Even crabs, crabs is a curse that a sorcerer will put on somebody in ancient times. Lice as well. These are curses. You feel me? This is what they was identified as, and in the beginning when when motherfuckers really dealing with the arts. Because you was teaching about, you was saying something earlier and it made sense because before we had religion, we had spirit summoning practices. You feel me? Whether it be voodoo, Santeria, whatever it was, they was dealing with the spirits and, they was practicing the arts. So now we just have religion. The religion is the worshiping of the spirits that was summoned or invoked in ancient times. People not invoking these spirits like they was back in the day, but this is what they dealing with in religion. All these religious deities we had before the Holy Bible. You had the Kabbalah. The ancient Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. This where demonology is at. You feel me? Like, and before Christianity, Judaism, you had spirit summoning practices, man. And they tried to abolish a lot of that shit. Been banned. And they call it like witchcraft and shit like this because the elites are still practicing these things and they gave the peasants like us religion. You feel me, Joe? But they tapping into the sources and really controlling shit.
Yeah. So look, our collective thinking creates an egregore called the collective the collective unconscious. It's all of our mind power. The side effect is we have to create an artificial cloud.
Mm.
In that cloud, all of the beliefs are compartmentalized.
Mm.
And it's like bubbles.
Okay.
And you go around popping the bubbles to make everything connect is the only way to break the egregore free from the trap. So imagine all the humans of Earth all of a sudden tune in to the love frequency. It is going to make all of the things not on the love frequency perish.
Mm.
Whole new species, a new life will emerge from that interaction, but old species will decay and fade away. In other words, Mother Earth will restructure according to the new frequency, and those
Yeah.
things that don't match the new frequency, she'll turn it off. She'll turn their mitochondria off.
Oh, that hit
And that'll
different.
make that species go extinct.
She'll turn their mitochondria off. Yeah, because it's been millions of infinite other species that's not here no more. And that might be Big Mama turning their mitochondria off. They wasn't fulfilling their purpose or moving righteously.
All of the species that's endangered that man didn't do that to, that's Mother Nature getting ready to bring in new species of animal life. So she got to make way by getting rid of the comparatively old defunct animal life. So that model has ran its course.
Definitely.
So
we look at like, what about the hominids too? Can't forget about the hominids, you feel me, that existed, that predated, modern man, like Australopithecus, Homo erectus. These may be they no longer exist. Neanderthals, they no longer exist. And it probably the reason for that, probably Big Mama turned their mitochondria off. Like,
well,
maybe
and they all had mitochondria. It's been proven in the laboratories.
it's been turned off though.
So yeah, but once the species has reached the apex of its development and a new species gonna arise, then the old species have to either transition into a new species,
Into a higher
which is
species.
called DNA upgrades.
Ooh.
The DNA upgrades is controlled by the massive amount of data that comes in on the UVBs and the UVAs coming from the sun.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Right? So the silver cord magic comes from the information that's reflected from the moon. And this is how they calibrated the women to the silver cord. And this is why we all right-handed mostly, because we only operating from the silver cord. The goal is to open up the heart chakra to allow the sacred secretion to reach the brain, so we operating from gold and silver. Right? Then we get to be access to a higher consciousness, because our brain now is in the form where it can facilitate higher consciousness.
Is you referring to ejaculation or just raising the semen
No.
without ejaculating?
No, the sacred secretion is not the semen. It's a golden elixir in the cerebral spinal fluid that comes from the base of the spine.
That's in semen though, if I'm not mistaken.
Cerebral spinal fluid is in semen. We got less than 8 seconds.
Okay.
But
for sure.
It was shit up. Ain't none of that shit. When they start telling you a man God over the woman, you full of shit. Because can't no man bring life into this world. They can't birth a seed. This is what this shit about in the beginning. A bunch of sissies thought they was outdo the woman by creating artificial wombs and jumping and giving birth to babies. This is what this shit about. Jealousy, deceit, trickery, deception, and y'all fall for this shit. Man, that emotional drug is a motherfucker. So the condition is called learned helplessness. Look that shit up. So you get to a condition mentally where you feel like all your fighting is in vain and you can't see quite sure. It's okay to feel that way, but don't stay that way. Don't stay that way. That's the trick. Goddamn right. I did a whole post on emotional intelligence, Dre. Look, the contract first expired in 1911, right? What happened? Well, Garvey had to come and give us some more keys because under the Jim Crow, y'all signed another contract called the Federal Reserve Act for international bankers to come in and manage your money for you because you was to manage your money. So now you're under that. Then that contract went bankrupt. Not in 1929, but in like 1913, I believe it was, when they did the Buck Act. They got so many of these laws. It's a series of them that positions them for when they first lose power to have another stretch. I gave them another 80 to 90 year stretch. Well, it's been 100 years now, but the 80-year stretch was up in 1995. Actually, 93. The 80-year stretch was up in 93 because this is not even supposed to be my time. This is supposed to be Tupac lane. This is supposed to be his turn. They figured out who he was. They tried to kill him. And I'm going to leave that at that. Yeah. Watch for the contract. These motherfuckers always, any treaty signed now, them contracts. We trying to get from under that shit, that motherfucking paper chains. Yeah, but everybody don't remember, Verkel. We did see some of us did. Everybody didn't, because some people was trapped in the loop. We had to come in between the jumping of the loop. We had to flip them out of what they call the infinity loop. So it's like a slinky. You hold two of the strings together, and then you try to, it gets stuck together. It don't quite bounce correctly. That's what they did they did that with about 40,000 years ago. No, it was longer than that. They blew a CERN, a collider, and the collider used to sit where the Mediterranean is. If you go back and you do your research, you find that the Nile used to drain into the Sahara Desert. Well, they had to reroute the Nile to fill in the hole. I had to engineer that shit because Mama said, only one can get the water to flow like we wanted to, so we needed to go from over here to fill in that big ass hole. So I filled in that big ass hole. There's a whole fucking bunch of cities under the goddamn Mediterranean, you dumb motherfuckers. With big ass 60-foot statues of pharaohs and all kind of shit that predate everything on the land. It's the other fuckers they collapsed the fourth dimension in on the third. And that's why when you were seeing now, you don't go to the fourth. You jump straight to the fifth. You was in both at the same time. That's why your dreams be crazy if you halfway woke. So, Sun Kiss, Shay, the green, blue, the aquamarine blood are from an aquatic planet. And it's probably about 750 light years from here. And it's probably about maybe 20 or 30, but there's no surface land. All of it is underwater, but there's like caverns under the water where they can set up like it's like a cave, but water on the outside of it. So theirs is like the reverse of ours. Ours is the land is on top of the water. Theirs the water is on top of the land. It's just a different setup. That's right, Daniel. So now in that post I did yesterday on Morocco showing the king, he gave a picture of Morocco that looked uncannily like California. And he said, this is the real Morocco. He's telling you something. He's telling you something. You see a picture of him with the Pope? It's telling you something. The Pope on his right. That means he flipped to the left off the Pope.